Hi, welcome to our presentation on declarative language, a thoughtful language style that helps kids feel competent, connected, and understood. This presentation is taken from Linda K. Murphy's presentation that we listened to at the ASHA convention in November 2021. So I hope you enjoy the information we're going to share with you, but we really cannot take credit. It's all Linda K. Murphy. She's wonderful. So I'm Sarah Schaff. I'm a speech pathologist for ESU 13.
I'm Jenny Lee Woltman, and I'm also a speech-language pathologist for ESU 13.
I'm Kami Rhodes, and I am a speech-language pathologist assistant at ESU 13.
I'm Sierra Ostick, and I am also a speech-language pathologist assistant at ESU 13.
And that's the team. Okay, so Linda Murphy is just so eloquent, and I cannot say it as well as she did by any means, but I'm going to give it a try. So a moment in time, she talks about how you need to have these things embedded into the real world. So declarative language can happen in any moment in time, at your house, in your classroom, at the grocery store. You just have to recognize the possibility and be willing to try and change your way of speaking a little bit to fit the declarative language model. So, to be social, successful communicators, we need to be good at a ton of things. So seeing the big picture, reading the nonverbal communication, problem solving in real time, taking the perspective of other people, self-regulating or having impulse control, being flexible, all very important, and all things that are so hard for kiddos that have social language challenges. So, that could be a kiddo that is diagnosed with autism, or it could be a kiddo with an ADHD diagnosis. It's just a ton of kiddos out there that have issues with the social language parts of things. So we need to try and develop these areas. So here are some foundation skills that we can work on. So those were the problems. Here's what we can do about it. So we need to help them develop their observation skills. Look around, see what's happening. Notice the others in the environment, know where to look. Develop their episodic memory. So some kids have a hard time, especially kids with ADHD, have a hard time connecting what they've already experienced to what they're experiencing right now. And there are so many similarities in these events that they've experienced that they could learn and draw from what has happened in the past. So if we can help them tap into that, it's really great. Appreciating different opinions and viewpoints, which I don't know about you guys, but in the current climate of social media and everything, I think everybody could benefit from this. Everybody has a different viewpoint and different opinions. So if we can help kids recognize that and appreciate that, it really helps. Number 4 would be feeling okay to make mistakes. And I know this is hard for everybody. I know I just hate making mistakes, but if we can help kids realize that we all make mistakes, it's really going to help them. Number 5 would be think in alternatives and possibilities. So not just black and white, but what's the gray and what other things could happen. So number 1, to improve those observation skills, we can use some visual referencing. So helping them know what to observe. So like through a point or a gesture or a direct look at that. Observe things more often. So we can observe them out loud and help them realize what we're observing so they can also observe it. Understand or derive meaning from what we see and hear. Nonverbal and contextual information is difficult for kiddos to observe, but if we observe it, like we observe it all the time, but if we observe it and then verbalize it, then they can get that model from us and know where to go with it. So let's see here. Number 2 would be to help kids become better problem solvers. We need to strengthen that episodic memory or even develop it. Sometimes it's barely there. So help them think through it. access those prior memories. Or if they have a really hard time with it, maybe make some proof of, oh, wait, let's look at this picture. This did happen to you before. Can we think about what we did when this happened before? Of the solutions that you know, which one's best? Those kind of thinking questions will help them draw on that memory, those things that they've experienced before. And store those memories for retrieval in the future if they've been thought through with someone else. So to help kids become better at taking the perspective of others, we can appreciate opinions and be comfortable with different perspectives. No one has to be right or wrong, and different opinions can exist in the same space. For example, instead of when a child draws something, saying what it is, you could just say, oh, that looks like a scarf. And maybe they'll say, oh, I drew a necktie. And it's like, well, it looks like a necktie too. We just saw it two different ways because we have different perspectives. So that kind of helps them see that not everybody's looking at things the same way all of the time. And then to give kids an opportunity to self-regulate and make adjustments in their behavior. Number 4 would be help them feel okay making mistakes. So during the presentation, there was an example given of a family who was, the parents were very successful, and every night they came home to the dinner table and they told their kids a story of how they failed. They're like, okay, so we're gonna go around and say how we failed today. And they would say, I failed at this, or I failed at that. And I was like, that's hilarious. I'm gonna try that. And it does, it works. It really takes away the pressure of always having to have a successful school day or a successful work day. It's like everybody makes mistakes once in a while. It's perfectly fine. So, and that helps them develop resilience and just be comfortable with the fact that they're not always going to have the right answer or the perfect day. So I really connected to that one. That was easy for me to implement. Now, declarative language, we'll get there, but so to help kids become flexible thinkers and think in alternatives and possibilities, appreciate that there's always more than one way to do something. So Linda really talks about how we just need to think out loud, make observations, quit with the questioning, stop with the naming. You know, just, we don't need to quiz. Our life isn't about being right and wrong. And if we open it up with this declarative language to all the possibilities, the kids are a lot more successful. They feel empowered. They can go through an activity with you and use their creative thinking in the communication instead of their regurgitative type, give you the answer. So I really encourage you to, as you learn more about this, try and practice it in your day-to-day, everyday life. And it is, I will just tell you right now, I might spoiler alert for it's coming in a future slide, but it is hard. It is super hard to do this. Changing the way you talk is like, okay, so the way I talk is kind of written in stone, but I think over the last couple of weeks when I've tried to implement this, it's become more of like written in sand, and hopefully it'll be written in water pretty soon and then in air. And so like, it'll just float away, and I won't be using imperatives and telling people what to do quite as much as well, unless we're late for school, then I might use imperative language. I can't always use declarative. Sometimes I'm in a hurry, but okay, I'll hand it over to Jenny Lee.
Okay. So declarative language is a gift that we give our kids within each interaction that helps develop these skills. I really do think it is a gift. I've actually been trying to use this quite a bit. We used it in the school, the classroom yesterday, and it truly worked. We have, there's a little preschool kid that really struggles. He gets anxiety when we're doing any transitions, right? It could be a matter of just like having to pick up some toys, or we're lining up to go to music, but we really get anxiety and we have a meltdown during those times. So, and of course I've been kind of observing, and his teacher likes to use that imperative language of go get in line, go pick up this. And it just kind of makes him even more anxious And so we tried using declarative language yesterday and it worked. It worked. I just asked him, I said, the boy's name, I was like, I see your friends picking up their toys. What do you think maybe we should do? Or what do you think they're doing that for? And he looks around and he goes, well, maybe it's time for cleanup. Like I don't think he understood what time it really was, but using that language really just completely changed his mind. It was pretty awesome. All right, can I go to the next slide or do you have to do that, Sarah? Okay, so imperative language, I think we all kind of have a pretty good understanding because we're all pretty darn good at imperative language, right? I am. I'm really good at it. I like to give directions and I don't give a reason why. And if you think about it, the reason we like to do instructions so much is because we know the outcome of that, right? So my kids just came in, they were outside sledding, and it would have been really easy for me to say, hey, you guys need to hang up all of your coats, hang up your snow pants, and put your boots on the mat. And before you even go 2 steps further, it would have been really easy for me to say that because I know the result of them, just throwing all their stuff on the floor, what it's going to do to my hardwood floors, like, right? So I know that that's the result of it. But using this declarative language helps out to be like, I see all of your guys' hats, coats, snow pants on the floor. I'm kind of concerned that we might get a big mud puddle here. And then somebody's going to have to clean that up later. And I don't know about you guys, but my kids don't like to clean. So there's kind of did get that problem solving in there. And they're like, wait a minute, I don't want to clean. I don't want to do that. So they did do their own problem solving and actually hung stuff up. But again, it's so much easier to use that imperative language. It's tell them what to do, right? Okay, next slide, please, Sarah. Again, we just went through this, but we do this a lot in school. Get in line. What color is your shirt? We're asking direct questions, right? So it kind of gets, a lot of times kids will get anxious because they're like, it's got to have a right or wrong answer, right or wrong answer. We just ask them these direct questions and we don't even let them know why we're asking that or what we're trying to lead in. We just ask direct questions. We want right or wrong answer. Go ahead and tell us that answer right now. I'm pretty good at it, at doing this, right? But I am working on it. I'm working on it. And I know as a parent, I've said this one. What did I say? What did I say? Did you hear me say that? We want that repetitive language right back to us that we just said, and it really doesn't benefit the kid very much, does it? Okay, next slides, please, Sarah. Again, what is declarative language? For me, it is being able to express my thought, or letting the child or whoever I'm talking to know what my thoughts exactly are. So not having them guess what I'm thinking, because how many kids have we had tell us, perspective is so hard. I don't know what you're thinking. And I don't know why you're thinking that. Like, how many kids have we had say that? Declarative language really takes that guessing game out of it. So we're helping them with what our feelings are, or why we might be thinking that, or what we are seeing exactly. Like a perfect example would be, I was talking about the snow. I didn't tell them exactly what I wanted them to do when they came inside. I said, I'm kind of problem solving out loud. I'm thinking out loud, right? Because I'm telling them, I'm seeing all of this mud on your snow pants, and I see this big pile, and I think that it's going to stay there, and then somebody's going to have to clean this up, So I didn't tell them what to do, nor did I tell them why to do it, but I let them do that problem solving to come up with their own conclusions, and sometimes it works. All right, go ahead. Again, this is the same ones that we hear it all the time, right? Get in line. What color is your shirt? Say hello to grandma. The great part about this is it gives us some examples. I like the one where we're just like, wow, I see some kids getting in line. I wonder where they're going or what they're going to be doing. Again, some kids just get so anxious. They have a hard time seeing that big picture. So the declarative language really helps them see the big picture, and not get so focused on the steps. And they're able to kind of see maybe where we need to be, and they can figure out maybe how to get there a little easier, rather than us just telling them exactly what they have to do. And And this is one of Linda's quotes. I like it. Declarative language, a really powerful tool. And I truly believe that. We just learn to try it, trust it, and be patient. And of course, this is a learning curve for all of us. We're not always going to be able to use declarative language. Like Sarah said, sometimes we just need that imperative language because you know what, we're in a hurry. But we can always try, right? We can always try. And here's just some examples, visual examples. You know, instead of saying the dog, so instead of saying, oh, you should feed the dog, we could say, you know, that dog kind of looks hungry. Do you think maybe the dog looks hungry? Instead of saying something like, oh, those are flowers, we could say how we could describe the flowers. Oh, those flowers are really colorful. I see some huge trees back there, rather than just say, look at the flowers, look at the trees. You know, we're more describing it so that the kids kind of focused. The kid is more easily looking at the same thing that we are with without telling them exactly what to do. And here's some more. This would be some more classroom examples, but just using that us and we and more I feel, I think. And I like this video. So she doesn't actually say anything, but you can we'll read it, or you can read it aloud. And I just like the language that she uses, and it talks about her cat and how it's changed their life. Okay, so again, she uses a lot of declarative language to say how she thinks the cat is feeling. And the cat probably is wanting down. And so she uses the declarative language to say, you know, I think Snowy wants down. He kind of looks uncomfortable there, when she could have said, put the cat down. You know, there's a big difference between those two. All right. Do we want to come back to these videos, or do you want to do them now? We could sure come back to these. Okay. There we go.
All right, I will take over. One of the things that she really talked about this helping is just becoming interested in the thoughts of others. And I really like that cat video that you showed, Jenny Lee, because I feel like if you had something to do that to practice with at home, maybe that would help. So I might use my 1-year-old Emma, because Sophie's always chasing her around and picking her up and just being silly with her. And sometimes Emma gets tired of it and tries to swat at her because she doesn't want to be messed with. So thanks for sharing that video. But anyways, modeling how to engage with others during structured activities. If you do it, your kids might catch on. I tried doing this with a book, like Jenny had mentioned, with the pictures with my 5-year-old at home. And I just started making comments on stuff that was in the pictures, and she started doing it right along with me. So it was kind of fun that we were learning that together. And then the nuts and bolts of declarative language. These are just some more of what Jenny Lee had earlier. It can include words that emphasize uncertainty, possibility, and alternatives. saying things like, maybe your friend wants to play too, or we might go outside later. I realize I forgot to put one of the bullet points down, possibly is another one in there. Saying something like, that's a great question, I'm not sure. Just kind of letting them come to their own conclusions about things will definitely help that problem solving, I think. Declarative language, nuts and bolts continued, using observational words or words that include our senses like notice, see, hear, smell, and feel. Saying things like, I notice everyone is reading a story right now. I heard your friend ask you something. I can tell your friend that you felt upset about that. And one activity that they did in Linda's presentation, I think, is it Linda, right? Okay. Is they had a video of a box that had a bunch of pictures on each side, and they would turn the box and kind of talk about, I see a cat, I don't see the cow. And then the kid on the other side would maybe say, I see a fish. And then I would say, I don't see the fish because the fish isn't facing me. So that can be a good way to practice as well. So this is a video I found of, this is the first time, like I searched everywhere for these videos. I text Jenny Lee because I was like, I have no idea where you're finding these. And I could not locate very many of them. So I found this guy that did a really good job of just telling her what was like, not telling her what to do, but just explaining what was going on. And I think that led to her talking quite a bit more. So let's check her out.
Just gonna put that right up. Oh, you know how that goes.
Yeah. I have to get ready.
You have to get ready now. We have 5 more minutes in the playroom, and then it will be time to go down to the waiting room where your mom is.
Okay. Take the blood test.
And you're gonna take my blood with that. Oh. So you know how to use this.
Can I get one at home?
Oh, you have one at home, so you know how to use it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you got that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Whoops. And that goes, like that. Mm-hmm. Oh. And you're gonna put that right there and check on me. And you're making that go around. You just checked me.
Yeah, maybe you need to check me now.
Oh, so you think maybe you need to be checked too?
Yeah, put this mask on.
So I need to put the mask on.
And put this over your neck.
And I put this.
Over your
You
neck.
show me how you want me to put it.
You don't need to.
So you're gonna put that on me like that. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm mask.
And you're gonna put the mask on me. You're just gonna put that right up.
So I thought that was a good one that just kind of showed him basically telling her what she was doing. And later on in the video, he talks about like, oh, I see that the wheel is spinning because I'm squeezing this. And he would say stuff like that. So I thought it was the most relevant video for this topic that I could find. And just another thing you can do with this is mindful pacing. It can be a really hard thing to do because some kids only need like 5 seconds of wait time. Some kids need like 25 to 30, and trying to judge that sometimes you're like, am I waiting too long? Am I not waiting long enough? So just finding that perfect spot is really difficult sometimes, but it definitely gives kids times to think, times to process and respond to things in their own way. Don't be afraid of silence like me sometimes. And be ready to slow down because silence can be golden. If you ever run into any issues with it, some things that you can do to troubleshoot would be get a little bit closer, wait a little longer. You can add gestures like Sarah had mentioned earlier, making sure that they're paying attention. Secure their attention by tapping them on the shoulder or trying to remove distractions. You can give more information, not necessarily less. So if you say, like, I see all the kids lining up, and if they don't respond, you can maybe get closer and say, I noticed that all the kids are lining up. I think that means it's time to go into school. So you're just kind of scaffolding on that previous statement that you had made. But those are some good things that I learned about through declarative language through Lisa's her presentation a couple weeks ago. So take it away, Kami.
Thanks. One thing I just wanted to say is that I've been trying to do this at home too with my kids and some of the kids I work with, but I've been really just trying to make an effort to whatever I'm thinking, like think out loud. So in your mind, you're always like talking to yourself, okay, this is what I think is going to happen. And if you just try to say those things out loud, it gives you a little bit of leeway into some declarative language. If you're trying to not memorize, okay, what should I say? What should I say? And just try to remember, okay, think out loud. Why am I going to peel the banana? You know, I think I want to eat it. So just think out loud. And that's just a good way to maybe try to get started when you're doing this. But anyway, so the last part of her presentation, Linda's presentation, was that she mentioned co-regulation and how it's a really important part of the declarative language. And I just wanted to say, it's not on the slide, but the process of co-regulation is just that relationship between you and the other person, and not necessarily just a child and an adult, but whoever you're working with or trying to implement that declarative language with. So it's that supportive process to help them self-regulate. So, you know, just things that you can do, like just being supportive and not expecting them right away to understand what you're trying to get across just by saying, oh, it looks like, you know, we want to go inside, or it looks like it's cold outside. They're not going to necessarily get it right away. And so just remember that co-regulation piece and being super supportive of the kids and kind of guiding them through this new process. It's new to both of you. So just a thing that little saying that I had come across too was, if you think in terms of co-regulation, is like when their storm meets your calm, that's when you start co-regulation. So just think of that when you're implementing this. Some of the things from the presentation, I mentioned that they're not going to understand right away what you mean. So just be patient, guide their learning by creating a relationship with them. And just some examples. So assume the best. So just because you say, I see clothes on the floor, I see your clothes on the floor, and stop there, doesn't mean they're going to automatically get it and be like, okay, let's go throw them in the hamper. So make sure that you say, you know, I see your clothes on the floor, let's work together to get them in the hamper. And then both of you work on that, and then you can get that meaning across, because they may not do it right away. And another example, the other example was just the dirty dishes, but same thing. They're still dirty dishes. How about we rinse, or I'll help you, or I'll help you place them in the dishwasher. Okay, I think I was there. And most importantly, I think everybody that has put in their information today has talked about don't give up. It's not an easy transition to you know, narrate kind of everything that you're doing, or to use that declarative language, but it's really worth it. It's really worth it. The videos she showed some before and after kind of videos of some kids that she's worked with, and it was really amazing to see the difference in the way they ended up communicating over some years. So it's definitely worth it. And then the last few slides are just resources that you can use. There's declarativelanguage.com has some information. She has some, there's some information, some downloads. And then also her website, lindakmurphy.com. She has a lot of articles. There's a list of all the articles there, but those are on her website for easy download for more information. And lastly, you can follow Declarative Language and co-regulation on social media. It's on Facebook, Instagram. She's on all the sites. These are 2 books. I have actually just downloaded these. I use Audible, but they were out there, and lots of good information. The presentation has a lot of it briefly, but both books are really good too. But you can go on Facebook. I did follow the Declarative Language and Co-regulation on Facebook, and there's lots of good information on those if you scroll through, and not over posting, but there is regular posts that share some great information. So. You're on mute, Sarah, I think.
Can you hear me now? Yay. Oh, I am getting so much better at technology. Failure for the day. No, just kidding. So I just wanted to share too, I found some nice resources when I was digging. There's something called Peers Project Therapy from the Heart, I think. And that's just kind of her program for kiddos. If you want her to treat your child and have the expert with declarative language there. I also found a chapter chat is what it's called, and it's with Carrie Ebert and one of her colleagues, and she's going chapter by chapter through the declarative language book every Monday. And so they've done chapters 1 and 2 so far, and that was just so fun to listen to because I love listening to Carrie Ebert. And I can't read the book and drive at the same time. I guess I could have downloaded the Audible, but Carrie's fun. And then I also wanted to mention during Jenny Lee's video, I couldn't quit chuckling to myself because I was like, if that was my video, I would have to do the subtitles because I would be using imperative language and then have to edit it with what I should have said. It's like, oh yeah, this is what I should have said. So it is a process. Don't be hard on yourself, but like every little bit counts. You know, we're here to help kids, and for years we've gone with this medical model of let's fix the deficit. Well, how about I should take my own advice, like I tell my children all the time, you can't change people, you can only change you. So how about we change the adult's way of speaking to the child and help that, you know, trickle down to benefit them. I just think it's a great approach, and I'm so glad that we got to hear it in the ASHA virtual library. It was great. It was great to listen to. And I hope you all got some good information out of this presentation. Anybody else have anything they want to say?
I know to help me with this, I made these little cards that I'm going to laminate, and it just has like declarative language nuts and bolts and pretty much takes it from the slides. But just to help me, like when I'm in some sort of a stressful situation, to maybe be able to help me think of something to say that's not imperative. So if anybody wants one, I'm going to make some. So
yeah, I'd take one. That'd be great.
Me too. Me too.
all right.
Okay. Well, thanks again, everybody. Now I'm going to hope this recorded and we don't have to do it again. Bye.
Bye.